All right, just another quick little update. We did plant, as you can see, we do have more. We have the new sprouts coming up. We replanted through here, so hopefully we're going to get the rest of those peas coming in. They're doing pretty good. Again, they need a lot of water, and it's hard to keep those wet, but we're doing the best we can. Our Swiss chard has really come alive. I mean, if you look at the size of these leaves are just immense. So the Swiss chard is really taking off. Swiss chard, I think this is cherry tomato, I don't know. Again, I didn't plant it, but cherry tomato, I did plant those before, and they do have a tendency to reseed themselves. So that might be cherry tomato. Same with, well, this one here might be cherry tomato also. But they're going. These ones are coming back. My dogs ate them, but this one at least is coming back. These are doing pretty good. These tomatoes here. These peppers. It's red pepper, red bell, doing pretty good. Got our third sprout over there. This jalapeno, not looking too great. Looks like it was eaten. But these 4 jalapenos, they're doing pretty good. And over here, this is one of our melons. They're doing okay. Not too great, but then over here, this is our second one. This is either the honeydew or the cantaloupe, as that one is. And these 2 plants are doing really good. So, and of course this pumpkin here came alive finally, but we got our second sprout coming. I did want to have at least 2, and we got it. We got a couple marigolds, but not a whole lot. The Brussels sprouts are just coming up all over the place now. Like the whole row is sprouted. We did replant our summer squash. Those are starting to come in now. Another Brussels sprout right there, I think. The sunflowers, they're starting to really grow back there. That one is too. It's just laying down for some reason. Our beans are starting to come up. We did replant our beans. There's one there. There's one there. Those are some squashes right there. The corn, as you can see, corn's getting pretty big, most of them. We got some others we did replant, so we do have some new ones coming up back there. But we're going to get that whole thing full, no doubt. But as you can see, our raised bed is starting to come alive. I'd hoped it would be a little bit faster, but I mean, we had to replant some squash for some reason, but it's doing pretty good. Then our mini raised beds, our tires are doing pretty good. But that Swiss chard right there is like, that was the first thing I planted, and it is just doing phenomenal. Doing absolutely just fantastic. That's actually going to be, it's getting close to almost time to start snapping some of these outer leaves off to eat them. Possibly this one too, maybe a couple of these, so I'll be able to make some Swiss chard soon, maybe another week or 2. As you can see, the drip system is working fantastic. I have not watered these since I got it running, and everything over here is doing fine. So, and the Swiss chard is just absolutely amazing. But that's it. The other half of this is supposed to get here Monday. So next week we'll be able to finish this. We'll be able to get this whole area here covered. And then that way, that should also help with some of the hotter temperatures we're going to start getting. It should help keep these things growing pretty good. But overall, I'm pretty happy. The progress is good. Again, this here, I'm probably not going to try to do cucumbers again, because obviously they haven't grown for me for 2 years really. They kind of grew a little bit last year, but this year looking bad. Swiss chard, definitely going to be a staple. The Swiss chard and the tomatoes, definitely going to be a staple in the garden. Because having a limited space, I want to make sure that I get the most out of the space that I have. And so that means that if it's going to be Swiss chard and tomatoes, they're definitely going to be, next year I will probably start my tomatoes in January inside, and then transport them to small pots, and then I'll just transplant them out here into the buckets. But they're still doing pretty good Here, as you can see down here, we have some flower buds forming. So we might have some tomatoes coming sooner than I expected, which will be fantastic. Let's see here. It looks like I got at least 2 or 3 in there, so that's pretty good right there. This one is coming back to life, which is good. They all are. Those ones down there, the leaves are very small. But the good thing is, though, is that one thing I did learn last year is how long of a season we truly have for growing. And these tomatoes and jalapenos, so long as these peppers, pretty much everything, if I keep the, somewhat shady so that it doesn't get that intense heat in the middle of the summertime, then these things here, I don't think my tomatoes actually died until December, and my jalapeno didn't until we had a frost in January. So we have a very long growing season. If you take precautions like I have with the sunshade, it really extends it out. So that's going to be one thing that I'm very happy about. So once we get the rest of the shade covering over here, I think that we're going to have a very, very successful harvest this year. Once those summer squash, those zucchinis start really growing, I think they're just going to produce like crazy in this weather. And things are going really good. But Swiss chard is definitely going to be a staple in my garden because these leaves are just, it's just doing so well. It's doing absolutely well. Next year I may move them out of the buckets and save the buckets for like the tomatoes or something, because these things are growing so well that I may just put in a small raised bed right here or something, maybe over here. Put in like a small raised bed in between the tires. Up. Like when I say raised bed, significantly up here, where I can have like a whole, just a dedicated, say 3x4 or 2 foot by 4 foot, just a designated, this same size, but where I can just put in nothing but Swiss chard and have like 2 rows of it, so I can really take advantage of a vegetable that grows this well in this weather. So that way we can really improve on our food output. I may just put the raised bed right here in this area right here, because I already have a drip system set up. And if I put a raised bed in here, then I'll be able to actually graduate from the buckets and actually put a raised bed in right here. And then, because this is a pretty good area here, and then we'll be able to actually just plant rows, so we can have just like, a back row of the Swiss chard, and then put like, something in the front, something that doesn't get quite as large, maybe onions in the front, but Swiss chard and onions. I got to see what's going to grow well with each other, but we may do that and then really take advantage of this area here and make a raised bed, like about waist level. So it's, definitely higher than the buckets. And then I can use the buckets. I can use those containers for something like lettuce or something that'll grow well in the buckets that needs more shade, and they can actually grow underneath the raised bed. I can just, put some drainage holes in the raised bed, so that, because as you can see, as the drip system, it still drips out the drip system. Well, then I can have the drip system set up here, and then it'll drain out, and then I'll have the holes over the buckets, so that when it drains out, it'll drip into the buckets, and then it'll water that soil. So, but I'm probably gonna make a 2-tier garden system over here, and then that way I can take advantage of this voided space right here, and I can, I think there's just got to be a way. I'm pretty sure that I can get a lot of food going out of just this little area here. I actually have to measure it, and then that way I'll know exactly how many square feet I have in here. But if I do double layers, like once we get a new fence, I'm going to take advantage of the fence wall here. So I'll put like, stuff like those, and I'll put those along the fence wall, and then that way I can have like double or triple layers of stuff on the side here. Like say radishes, I could put radishes on the top row up here. I could put a pot with radishes and all the way down here just have just nothing but radishes growing in the top, because they don't need like a lot of space down. And then I can use deeper pots down below it, and I could put in like beets, and then on the bottom I could actually just build another raised bed on the bottom there, so that it has, you know, the ability to go deeper actually into the ground. And I could put like carrots down there, so I could have just like a wall of root vegetables here, stuff that doesn't need, you know, a lot of space, you know, then, you know, little space on the top, so I could have like 2 rows of radishes all the way down, and just, you know, just have huge radish harvests, and really take advantage of the way that this setup is here. This is, I think all in all, I have a really good area here that I can use. And I think with the proper precautions, i.e., you know, the sunshades that will keep the sun from just completely eating all these plants up in the middle of summer, I think that I can actually have a really good system set up here. I do want to incorporate more of these solar drip systems, as opposed to having this system that just runs off of the hose. I mean, I do like the sprinkler system, and definitely a good idea, but those, it's like I just have to maintain the water level in the container, and then it just waters them throughout the day. So I don't have these points where I'm worried about the soil being dry. So, and I think that's pretty important. So, and then of course on payday, I'm probably going to go get the rest of the red mulch fern here. So next week, fingers crossed, but next week this whole area here should be the red mulch. So this whole area here should be good to go. And then I just have to do some minor tweaks. What are they doing? But I think that that's going to make this whole area look a lot better. And we won't be having these like muddy area, slightly muddy spots. It'll be nice and dry and just a nice area. No weeds, no glass, no puncture vine. So, but I think I have a good space here. I just have to really take advantage of it, and I think this is going to be really good. So, and of course, here in the next couple weeks, that shed's going to be there, and then we're going to start working on the shed so that we can I'll move the office out there, and then I'll probably put a tree right here. I'll have the shed, my office will be there. I'll put a tree right here in between the garden and the office, so that way I'll be making videos just out here all the time. So, and I think it's going to work out pretty good, and everything's going to be nice. And I mean, it's really hot out. But underneath this sunshade like this, it's probably like when the sun's hitting me directly here, it's probably at least 10 to 15 degrees hotter out here than it is under here with just this. And this is just 40%. So still plenty of sun gets through, but it's broken up so much that you don't have that really bad heat on you. So, and I think that it's going to be fantastic here. One thing I've been thinking about doing, and this is absolutely crazy, but one thing is along the edge here, like on the inside, but along the on the edge, underneath the edge here, what I'm thinking about doing is putting up a elevated sprinkler system so that it acts like rain. And so then I can turn it on, and you know, kind of like the misters you see in like the produce sections, but to actually like just kind of like put a sprinkle effect down over the whole area. I don't know, just something I've been thinking about. I don't know if I'm going to do that. I definitely am going to be putting in a gutter system. Maybe not this year, but maybe towards the end of the season, when it's going to get ready where we're going to start having rain again. I'm thinking about putting a gutter system in again, because the roof slants to the front and the back, and if I put a good gutter system in, then I might be able to, when we get like the really heavy rains, I might be able to harvest, you know, 50 to 100 gallons of water off of the roof, because we have a big roof. And then that will be a good way to, at least for a little while, because, you know, I can probably fill up 2 or 3 of those, and that's going to give me just, you know, fresh rainwater that I can use to water the plants. And each one of these buckets lasts me a little over a week. So if I can harvest 2 or 3 of these buckets from the rain, that's going to give me like almost a month where I'm watering the plants, and it's costing me nothing, like literally zero, because, well, I mean, after the initial investment, of course, but a solar pump and rainwater, then, you know, if I can get enough rainwater, you know, harvested, then at least, you know, if I can get to where it's like, you know, a month I'm not using any water to water everything, then that's just gonna be a good little relief on the water bill. But that's one of the reasons why I don't have a lawn, is because I don't want to just water to just, you know, to get nothing. So, but that's it for this week. Not a whole lot going on, just a lot of growth, which I'm really excited about. So I don't know if you guys are out there doing any gardening or not. If you are, hope yours is doing well too. I know that I'm pretty happy. The trees are looking good. They really haven't grown anything, but the trees are looking good. I think the parsnips and the beets are almost ready to harvest. I did plant another row of turnips. I'm gonna see if I can't get, at least, because this is what, March, so it'll be about this is what, the 3rd week of March, so about the 3rd week of April, hopefully I have another harvest of radishes. And in 2 weeks I'm gonna put in like another batch next to it, so that hopefully, well, right after it, so that way I can see if I can get, I want to see the latest point of time that I can get radishes from the front there, because then it's like I know that I can start planting them earlier. So I can start planting them earlier, and if I do every 2 weeks, then if I can get, you know, 25 to 30 every 2 weeks, just sprouting, and then replant. So just sow every 2 weeks, harvest, then I can have a good stock of radishes built up. So, but anyway, that's it. Hope you liked the video. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. I'd really appreciate it. I'm at like 461. At 500, we are going to be doing those giveaways. Right, until next time, keep prepping.